Hey YouTube, welcome back. Last week the whole house was insulated and we got our drywall delivered, which is very exciting. Drywall is going to start this week, but we have a few things around the house that we need to fix before they close it all up.
Yep, we gotta add some drop ears. We have to attach some pipes so they know where to put holes in the drywall. We have to finish up a little stair skirt that the framers didn't do, which is one among many things that the framers didn't do. Bunch of little odds and ends. We want to attach the outside electrical boxes so that they get painted house color. I just want them to blend in. That would be best.
That's the other thing that's happening this week is the painters are going to show up.
Painters are going to show up and start working on the house. We're going to paint the garage. I don't want to paint the house because I don't want to be at the top of a 40-foot ladder. So no, thank you. It's really not that bad. I think they're going to have it done in like a week, and
yeah, they're going to go way faster than us. As per usual, we're going to do the garage part and it's going to take us longer than it will take them to do the whole house.
We totally framed the garage faster than they framed the house.
That's because they just like didn't show up for a while.
Yes.
But
yep. So that's what we're up to, but it's like a lot of odds and ends, but we have to get them done before Monday because that is when everything gets covered up, and you know, we can't find a water line inside of a wall after it's been covered with drywall and pull it through, and it's just lots of things like that we need to make sure aren't a problem later. So that's what we're doing.
Yep. As much as we like the hardy board green,
I'm kind of used.
I'm
kind of used to it now. Actually, I think it looks pretty good.
It's going to be a darker green.
Yes.
After they paint it. Kitty, go away. So this is the skirt that is missing. There's two different ways you can do stairs. You can have the wall kind of end underneath the stairs and then have an exposed edge, which I think actually looks really good. But because of the way that they framed the main part of the stairway, we can't really do that. So we have to add the skirt here, otherwise it would be like a mismatched kind of stair, which we don't want. So have to add that to the few little stairs that go down into the living room. And then in this main floor bathroom, we are missing the drop ear for the toilet. Is supposed to be on the other side of this batting. I need to put gloves on to touch it. And then I need to elbow the water lines for the sink out because they are also on the wrong side of the wall. So here's our hot and cold water for the sink that need to poke into the bathroom. And then this blue line here is actually for the toilet. There's the drop ear right there. I just need to attach it and have it poke into the bathroom. So I cut them off and I added these little collars and some elbows to the leftover piece. And then what you do is you're going to poke into the other room. So take the side of the collar, don't make too much of a kink in there. Shove that in, poke it through the wall. We have to trim that or make a cut in it. Our water lines are not in the guest room. So now this is what we have in this room. They're sticking out of the wall a little bit so the drywallers will know to put holes. And there's the drop ear. I cut a little channel in the batting. We're gonna have to add a little pipe to stick out of the wall. But this room is good to go. Ready for drywall. All right. Mike finished his little stair skirt. Looks pretty good for somebody who's never done that before. Matches what we have going on up here. So the drywall guys will be able to get that all nice.
The next thing that I needed to tackle is these drains in the closet of the master bedroom. These are actually for the steam generator that lives in the attic up above, and we just had them plugged and kind of hanging in the closet, but we needed to tee them together and then add a drop ear down near the drain that is in our closet. So I got that cut off and set on a little block.
So it has two separate drains but they can elbow together down here. So we have a little T. One of them is a 3/4 line that's like the drain pan. And then this one comes out of the unit itself for if it backs up or has water in the line, it can drain. And then there's a little drop here, and we'll have just a normal drain cover right there. And this is just a temporary cap for that. We'll try to make it look pretty. We'll probably hide it with like a little shoe shelf or something so that you don't have to look at it. But the drain, it has to have a little elbow and be floating at least an inch over the actual drain so that it can't backflow. Have to have that in the master closet, but at least the steam generator isn't taking up all of that space. It would have taken up like that whole corner if we had to have the steam generator actually in the closet. But instead it's up in the attic.
Next, I needed to make some adjustments to the sink situation in the master bathroom. So our vanity wasn't as wide as what the plumbers had plumbed in here. I had to shorten the drain pipe and then move the PEX lines over, get them through that stud so that they would be in the right place for the vanity that we purchased.
These two pipes were too far away from each other. This one was way out there. It wasn't going to work with the vanity that we bought, so I had to shorten this one, recouple it, get it to the other side of the wall. I had to notch this out. This stud right here is actually not doing anything. It's not 16 on center, it's just because it's the end of the bottom plate, and that's not necessary. That entire stud is unnecessary. So I notched it out, but it's fine. And then we have our water lines sticking out where they should be. This black line right here on the ground is where the center of the sinks will be in our vanity. So this is all situated now, which is good. And then put a cap on this. This is just a temporary little pipe with a cap so that we can test and make sure that the push to connect that I put over here, this is fully connected now on our little Mo and You. So we'll be able to test that. There's also a cap on the Rainbird one.
He puzzled and puzzled till his puzzler was sore. And then this is what he made.
What have you been doing while I was doing plumbing?
We need 2 more stringers on our deck stairs because the deflection in the Trex that we got is too great if it's not supported like every 13 inches maximum. Or no, 16 inches maximum, sorry. So we have 25-inch gaps on our super wide stairs, which means that we need 2 more stringers to support them so that the Trex doesn't bend underfoot when you step on it. And so I had to copy exactly the stringers that were there, which is hard for several reasons, but the key reason is that, you know, usually when you cut something and you're like a 1/16 of an inch off, it's fine. But when you have 16 stairs, it ends up being a whole inch off by the bottom. So you've got to be super duper precise. I don't know if I was or not. I don't know if I can do much better than I did. Hopefully this thing fits nicely.
And then you gotta make one more.
Yeah, but that'll be easy because
you can just trace it.
Because like when you're making new stringers, you've got 3 feet of landing. It just has to land on the landing somewhere. And once you've got one that works, you just trace it and you cut your lines and it's all good. I had to copy what they did. I'm less certain. we'll see.
We're gonna test it out, and then if it's good, you'll make another one by tracing it. So these are the stairs back here off of our deck, and this gap is just a little too wide for the Trex. So we have to add 2 more stringers. All right, it's Sunday morning, and last night we had a little accident. Mike stepped on a nail that was sticking up from one of the stringers that he tore down. So in addition to adding stringers to the exterior stairs, we also we were looking at them. They got pretty warped and damaged, and they were already kind of cracking from the winter because they weren't stained. We didn't really seal them super well. So they were pretty beat up. And then the other thing is that they weren't all matching. So the rises and runs and rises weren't all matching, so it would have been really difficult to make them look nice when we do add the tracks. So rather than just adding 2, we have decided to replace 2 of them, and Mike tore down a couple that were like cracked and had issues and were uneven. And when he was tearing them down, he ended up stepping on one of the nails, which really sucks, but he's such a trooper. He's so calm, and I like to think that I stay pretty calm. I ran up to the house, I got hydrogen peroxide, I got some Neosporin, I got bandages, and I patched him up, and he's working today. He acts like it's no big deal that he got stabbed, but my comfort level with sharing on the internet is not to the point that I'm okay with showing you the hole in his foot and like stopping to record video when I should be patching up his foot. So there's no video of that. Sorry if that's something that you wanted to see. But for today, we need to finish those stringers. And what Mike has decided to do, since he ripped down the other boards anyways, he took the best one and he's tracing that one, and he's going to have them all match perfectly so that when we are setting the tracks, it's not like a weird cut that we have to make and they all line up, they're square. Hopefully it works out. Stringers are tricky, but it definitely helps to be able to have one to just trace and then cut the other ones. The other thing that we're replacing is this bottom plate. Our lovely framers, rather than using one solid piece, used 2 for reasons unknown, and then they ugly toenailed it together. They also didn't use cement bolts, they just shot a million nails in a circle to attach it to the cement, which is not very good. So we're gonna replace this whole thing with a fresh pressure treated board and use actual cement bolts. And then they also didn't attach, this was being held on with like 3 toenails. This whole giant beam is loose. So we're gonna fix that. Check that out. Those are super gross. I'm not sure how they expected that to hold our stairs up. So we have added 2 pressure treated 2x4s at the bottom to create a sturdier base, and we have pre-drilled the holes for the bolts. We're going to be using these concrete bolts that have washers, and this little mechanism at the bottom, as you pound the bolt in and then you screw it tight, this kind of expands down in the cement and then prevents it from coming up and out. So this is going to be much more secure. We have 2 stringers that are fresh, just made today, that are going to be in the middle, and then we'll only have about 14 inches between the stringers, which is great for the tracks that we have. So we got those bolts pounded in and then secured nice and tight, and then we were able to screw in that beam from the side with these very long deck screws so that it's much more secure than it was before. And then it was time to hang those 2 middle stringers. We used a palm nailer and some actual hangers to get it nice and secure and attached to the deck. So there's also H hangers down at the bottom, and these are looking really good now. Okay, the last thing that we have to do before the drywallers show up on Monday is to finish the rough plumbing for this tub. So you can see our PEX lines are here, but they're not connected to anything. We need to drill holes, which we have hole saws for. Mike is figuring out the exact placement. We're gonna have the main tub filler in this corner here, and then the handles on either side of it. And then there's a little handheld shower thing. Here's all of that. There's our tub filler and the little handheld. These are the handles. It's very pretty. We're not going to actually install the finishing stuff, but we have it here so that we can wrap our heads around where we want to put things. This is the rough-in valve. So this is the main valve that needs to poke up through the bottom, and then the hot and cold PEX lines will attach to these PEX-A adapters that I had to hunt down.
Such a big hole cutting it. I don't know.
It's gonna make a goopy.
I don't know if I can do it without making quite a mess, but we'll give it a shot.
All right, we did it. We have tub filler, handle, temporary covers. That is where the little handheld shower thing is going to be. It has a little temporary cover that holds it in place. We have all of our rough plumbing done. And this little hose is what allows the handheld device to come out. My Wayfair account manager, because she's great, helped me source this part for a cold expansion, a PEX-A adapter for this valve system. So that is all set. So we did it. We finished everything. I am sweating. Now we have to clear everything out of the house before the drywallers get here tomorrow. But everything that we had to get done before painters and drywallers showed up is done, other than tidying up. Man, I'm all shiny because it's hot in the house. Thanks so much for joining us. We're in good shape, and drywall starts tomorrow, and everything's gonna start to look more finished. And then it'll be on to finishing work. Hanging doors, putting in flooring. Moving along.